Okay, so Katie, we've decided to start a podcast.
Hello, everyone.
What what's the reason we're starting this podcast?
Well, my reason, um, I think a lot of people dream of having their own little podcast or something, starting something like this. For me, um, share my story for one. I feel like I've spent a lot of my life hiding my story and keeping it hidden, and I see this as an opportunity for some healing, therapeutic healing, and building a community. For sure, building a community, reaching out to people who need to hear the message, also who are hungry for what we have to offer. I
Y-
think.
yeah, definitely. And I think because we've been having really good talks. We just had our first child together. She's 5 months old now, and um, we've grown a lot in our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the biggest really growth that we've had is when we actually sit down and have those one-on-one talks. And that was almost it. That is new to me. Like since we started doing that, we have been doing it for a while now, but I just realize how important it is and how real it is when we're both being real with each other, saying exactly how we feel, no judgment in the moments. And when we actually have those talks and we know that neither of us are going to be getting mad at each other, and it's just having those real open talks. And I think really we started doing it and we went, fuck, like we should be filming this. Like this is good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. And I felt like there's definitely other couples and other people in relationships who maybe are feeling the same thing. Maybe they're not having these conversations. And so we wanted to, or I wanted to, and I think you had the same feeling, is share this with other people so that maybe they can feel more open about doing this for themselves. And I think like, especially starting the podcast, I think it's for me like to document our experience and document our lives. Like I find you and I are both kind of not that good at taking pictures and taking videos, and we're just starting this new chapter in our lives, and we're like, we should really be documenting all this.
I agree. Yeah. I just think it's a really great platform too for spreading awareness. Especially for on this journey for me, it's going to be talking a lot about my mental health, and that obviously includes you because you've had to learn a lot about it. Because I mean, I don't know how much you've experienced it on your own before you met me, but since having Zyla, obviously postpartum is part of it. Um, and I'm actually like in it right now, and it's an up and down battle, but it's like I feel like I'm winning every day, and I think this is just going to be awesome for people to watch, and maybe it'll be inspiring for I don't know. I think mental health is becoming more and more openly talked about, but still not enough. I mean, there's still people dying every day because no one's speaking up about it. I mean, this isn't only going to be about mental health, obviously. It's just the tribulations of being in a relationship, seeing how I think
Well, and I think it is about being open about the mental health because, yeah, it is 2019 going into 2020, but where it seems like, okay, it is more widely accepted, the mental health thing, but there's
mhm,
still that other factor that I see that's like, it's still super judged on the outside. Like it's almost like a deflection with humor about, oh, mental health, right? Everybody has it, and when really it's not a joke at all. It's really serious. And I think when people aren't out in the public or in a group of friends talking about it, everybody has their own shit going on.
yeah. And I know like for myself I have a lot of fear about. I think that's my biggest obstacle that I'm going to have to get over by doing this podcast and filming it and like allowing people to see me at my most vulnerable and my most bare. I already struggle. I mean, I still struggle with it with you, or even just accepting myself as I am. I have a lot of judgments towards myself. So even just the thought of someone writing a nasty comment, and I have to just be prepared for that because by putting ourselves out there, I realize that I'm very vulnerable to that. But I think there's a lot to say because it takes a lot of courage to do what we're doing, and I wish more people were doing it. And I've been waiting years and years for someone else to start a podcast like this and just been searching for it. And it's not that it's not out there, but I'm like, why are we waiting for someone else to do it when I think everyone who starts a journey like this, a path, a career, or whatever you want to call it, of being as truthful and open as possible, they all are scared in the beginning. They're all terrified.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
and that's just so much of what holds everybody back, right? It's just that fear of starting, and even us kind of, trying to prepare and get things kind of just right. And really it's just starting and just doing that first one and then continuing on and just keep growing, right?
Yeah. And at the same time, like whoever is going to have comment about us, whether, I mean, I love the support, but unless you're sitting in our in our chairs and you're doing what we're doing and putting yourself out there, like who are you to judge? Like if you're not in the arena, like I can't quote it, but Brene Brown has a quote, like if like you, unless you're like in the arena, like getting kicked and like knocked down, but standing back up, and the people aren't there with you doing it as well, like they really have no say in what we're doing.
Yeah. And I think we're both, because we've started like growing a lot together, and I think we're both at a point in our lives where we're just really not wanting to give a fuck what other people think. And it's something that we have to practice, because it's like a daily thoughts, or catching yourself in those thoughts and changing that thinking in the moment. Like, why am I doing this? To please other people? Or am I doing this because I'm worried about what other people think? Or am I going to change my own actions based on fear of judgment from other people? And it's like, we have talked and we both just don't want to live that way. And I think it has to go into moving. Well, you had mentioned just at the very beginning that, we're kind of looking for our people and looking for real people. We're just both so sick of just being fake. We want to be around authentic people. And not to say that everybody in our lives isn't authentic, and this isn't to, call anybody out on anything, or it's just realizing our own truth.
Because we too, I mean, we're saying this, but we both struggle with it as well. Like,
yeah.
I know if I get around certain people, I catch myself acting a certain role because that's where I fit for so long. But now it just isn't serving me anymore. It just doesn't feel good anymore. And that's why having a platform like this, me and you doing this together, it's really holding us accountable, of not just sitting around and talking about the same thing over and over again and like saying, oh, I wish things were different. It's like, no, like we're going to talk about it, but then let's actually be in the solution and make a difference. Like, I want to come out. I don't know how long this is going to go for. I don't really actually know where this is going to go, but I want to be able to see a marker of like starting now, today, our first podcast, this new journey, and look back like 5 years from now and be like, wow, like I've grown so much. I've really actually changed. I've taken those things. Like I am where I want to be. Like I don't want it to just be 5 years from now and we're still sitting around talking about the same thing. Like I want to grow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's really the whole point and why we're starting this.
Yeah.
And again, like we don't really have that many friends or that many close friends. Like me and you are pretty like private.
Acquaintances.
And yeah, we got acquaintances, but I mean, I got like a few good friends, but especially now, like we live on the island and I got friends from high school that are going to be friends for life, right? But I mean, those real close connections with people that want to live the same way we do and want to live like real, right? Like, because I know we both struggle, and maybe it's a little bit of anxiety, but it's more so not wanting to surround myself with the bullshit. I get into these, say you walk into a group of friends or a group of acquaintances, and you can just, nobody's really being themselves, and then you put on a face to join the momentum of what everybody else or what you think everybody else wants to see you as. And again, it's all just judgment and living on fear and judgment. And it's just not the way we want to live anymore. And so that's a big part of why we're starting this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing that we're going to be doing with this is I've recently started doing these challenges. And before, you see those challenges on the internet, like say the ice water challenge and shit like that. Like they've been happening for a while, and I never participated. But just over a month ago, I was scrolling online and I saw this guy do a 200 push-up a day challenge for 30 days. And I'm like, fuck, I haven't really been working out that much. I've kind of been like slacking on that stuff. And I'm like, I can do that. And I'm going to start this challenge. And I really like held myself to it. I'm like, I am going to do this. And for me personally, when I set a goal and I'm determined, I do it. I will make myself do it. So today is the last day. Today is day 30 of the 200-day push-up challenge, and like I can see results already. It's amazing.
He does. He looks good.
and it's funny because I'm like, wow, like what a good challenge, and I want to continue this on. So actually, starting tomorrow, I'm trying to think of challenges that, you know, are productive challenges
Geared towards self-growth,
Yeah,
personal growth.
Exactly. So now my next one is I not necessarily struggle with, but I don't drink as much water as I should. I drink a lot of fizzy water because fizzy. I like the carbonation, but. So my next challenge is starting tomorrow, where I'm actually going to continue on the 200 push-ups a day, but I'm going to start drinking a gallon of water every day start off with 30 days. And the thing with these challenges is, especially even if you do it for a week, 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever, you get that sense of accomplishment when you hit your goal. And it's like, it's a feel-good thing as well. So, you know,
especially when you're seeing results.
Yeah. And it's like cool. And it's just such a good, I'm just so stoked about it, and I think like we really wanted to incorporate these challenges in our podcast to influence, or you know, maybe give ideas to other people to start something like this, because it's fun. I think
it is fun, and it inspires people and gets other people motivated. It's just like how you saw that guy show it on YouTube channel, wherever you saw with the push-ups, and you're like, I want to try it. So mine is going to be something that I think I probably set a goal like over and over, like every Monday. I think every person can relate to this, is like cutting out sugars. And it's not for my physique or whatever. It's just that I really am not feeling good. Ever since I got pregnant with Zyla, my first trimester, I used to be a really clean eater, very particular about the foods that I ate, and I like took a lot of pride in that, meal prepped. But I remember first trimester, it kind of started because the only thing you really want is carbs, and the only thing I could stomach to eat was fruit and crap. And I got in a bit of a momentum, and I find the thought of eating a salad is kind of like the last thing on my to-do list. But I know it's just repetition and consistency, and by doing that, I'll start to crave it. My body is filled up with crap, so it's craving crap, and I know that by my simple changing. So really, I just want to feel good. I really, really, really want to feel good, but I do have to be like completely transparent. It is a slippery slope for me. I do come from a history of eating disorder or disordered eating. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't like to label it either like I have an eating disorder, because I'm not sure if that's, I don't know if that's healthy or not. I'm still trying to figure that out, but I just want to fuel my body with food that is also good for my mental health. And trying to figure that out before Zyla's old enough and cognitive enough, because I know she's watching me already, but I don't want her to ever hear me say diet or anything. It's not about dieting. It's just living a healthy lifestyle. And obviously with that, naturally, I'll start to look good, and that's also going to make me feel good. But I just want to eat more plants. So my goal for the next 30 days is cut out the sugar, cut out the potato chips, and just focus on eating like luscious plant-based whole foods. It's not difficult. It's just I can eat. I'm not restricting. I'm eating whatever I want. And we'll just see where that goes. And I'm hoping that'll take on where my body will be reset, and I'll naturally crave those foods again, and that'll just be my natural palate. I also am working on. I don't know really have it set in stone, but I've been working on these checklists, health self-care checklists. I don't know if, all you ladies out there, the new moms, or if you've got 3-5 kids, I don't know how you do it. Cutting out space and time for self-care and taking care of yourself, filling up that cup before you go out and help your family. I mean, I love, obviously, like Zyla's always going to be number one, but I'm noticing a huge difference in my day when I set out like a cutout time for, a 10-minute meditation, a little bit of journaling in the morning. And so I still haven't quite figured that out.
Yeah. Well, and even like as your partner, I notice those days too, like especially with the sleep, with the eating, and with just your kind of self-care things. Like, not that you intentionally take things out on me, but like when you get into your anxiety or your depression, it's usually a factor of those three things.
All three things, yeah.
And then, it kind of will reflect out on me. And that's usually when we end up getting into an argument, or if we get into one of our tiffs, is when either one of us aren't really taking care of ourselves as well as we need to. And so something even the other day, because yesterday we got into a little, I don't want to say an argument, but into, for lack of a better word, an argument.
Yeah.
And in the moment, I think we realized after we went and we took a 5-minute kind of break from each other, and then we kind of regrouped, came back, had one of these conversations that we're talking about in the beginning on why we even wanted to start a podcast, and just realizing that, okay, if we can realize in that moment, okay, shit, we each need to take 5 minutes, regroup our thoughts, and then come back. And when we can actually really openly think, putting ourselves in the other person's shoes, like when I try to put myself in your shoes and understand where you're coming from, and then when you do that with me, like vice versa, I think that's really where we come to our understanding of each other, right? And then we can actually talk about it in a healthy, mature way.
Well, because by doing that, it's healthy, and we're naturally, like for me, it's every time we do that and we find a resolution, I mean, that the trust that we have between each other is growing. Like I still struggle with that, like with feeling safe or actually believing that you can handle all of this, right? So I have a lot of fear around whether or not I'm going to be received properly or rejected, because I know when I'm in those states, when I'm in my anxiety, a lot of my behaviors, I can, as it's going on, I can't control it, but yet I'm also like observing myself, and I feel like it's not logical. There's not a lot of logic. So yeah, taking those 5-minute breaks, like, and so I can breathe, and then I'm able to, cause like my brain's, it's just, you can't reach me when I'm in that state, and anything, I want you to fix it. So it's like, I'm expecting you to save me, but anything you say or do just pisses me off. Yeah. So like,
and then like, for example, the other day I was coming off night shift. So the one night I was worked till 2 a.m. and then the next day till 1. And then, we got the little one, 5-month-old. And so then, I woke up, I was groggy and tired, and I wasn't in my, optimal mental state either. So then I start fucking rolling my eyes or doing shit that pisses you off even more. And I'm not even like intentionally doing it, but I'm just in my own shit there too, right? Like, I'm feeling fucking tired. I just woke up, and then, it can snowball really fast. So I think that's why, like we said, it's important to take those 5-minute breaks and then come back, give you a hug, tell you I love you.
Yeah. And we're getting so much better. I think about when we first started. Like when we first started seeing each other till now, it's like we've grown so much. I've grown so much. Like realizing that you do have my back, or you can handle it, or like it's just really letting go, and like I don't know, you're just proving it to me. Like, okay, like I'm not going to be punished. I'm not bad. I'm still good. I'm still lovable, as annoying as that is. Like you're just a cool dude that's gonna have my back. You love me no matter what, right?
Thanks, babe. I love you. I do have your back.
Yeah.
And like, I know that you got mine too. I've have my own home business, side business on the go that I've been working really hard at for 1.5 years, and you've honestly just been the most amazing partner for supporting me and keeping me going. And it hasn't been easy. Like I feel like I've been grinding at it for so long, and I'm starting to get some results, but it's still like, it's that, I don't think I ever thought I was going to have like instant success or anything like that. But like, I think as I'm working through it, I'm realizing more of like enjoying the process. And I think even just that experience of me starting my crypto business and starting the YouTube channel and starting all that, like, honestly, I think it's like one of the reasons that's brought us here and has got us open to like even doing this, just starting new things. When you start new things, different opportunities pop up.
Yeah, you get inspired to try new things. And the thing is, it's so important to take a step back, for you especially, to acknowledge like how much you have grown. I mean, thinking of like for your trading and all of it, everything you've done, you're self-taught. Like that's amazing on its own. Not many people have the dedications to even teach themselves something like that too. Like, come on, like it's not easy. So I think that's inspiring. And just us doing this right now, I don't really know where this is gonna go. And and sometimes I worry, like, well, aren't we gonna run out of things to talk about? Aren't we, like, how are we gonna keep inspiring people? What if we're boring? But it's just like, just putting one foot in front of you, each foot, and just like we're doing it together. Like I think that I don't think I would ever do this without you.
Yeah. Like, well, no, and we've been super excited because there's couples who have, like, say there's